There's a heated debate going on right now, and it's about the Facebook profile and your Facebook page. Which one is going to bring you more business this year? Hey, Sales Sender, Chris here, and we are here for a Spotlight series to continue. And today's guest is going to finally bring us the answers that we all need. Listen, there's a lot of debate going on around Facebook pages and profiles. Now, business pages, yes, but some people are using pages with their personal name. And now there's changes within Facebook where you can go into groups and do these different things. What is the best way to build know, like, and trust? What is the best way to post content and where and how often? We always will bring this fellow sales ascenders in this community that are on the front lines, solving these problems, getting paid to solve these problems in a real way for real businesses just like you and I, which is exactly why today we are joined by Cate. Cate, it's great to see you. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. And Cate is in the future. She's an Aussie. We love our Aussies. And here, we'll get a little more up close and personal here. I'm really personally, I was telling you this, we were having a conversation about this just a little bit. I'm personally really excited to have this conversation because there's some changes that have been taking place, and there's capacity. There's a lot of problems that come with profile and page. Like, please lead us into the light today of the right direction to go. Before we do that, I want everyone to kind of get a feel for why Cate. And I've pulled up your site here, and I'll just want everyone to be able to see this, who Cate is, and I'd like to hear a little bit more about your background as we kind of walk through it together. Sane social media. How did you land on Sane social media?
Oh my God, sometimes I just really curse myself for coming up with that name.
Well, I know social media gets insane, so
yeah,
I was
my personal life are just completely, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, I came up with it because social media drives a lot of business owners insane, particularly when they're first starting out, but even later on, they just don't, the pressure of having to come up with content, the relentlessness of it, going, I don't know what to post, I don't know when to post. When I go and Google what time to post, I get like 45 different answers, and I don't know what the truth is, and how do I make it work, and how do I unpack it? So I went, okay, the same way is to get someone else to take care of it who knows what they're doing.
Yes. Okay. I love it. And I know, looks like you have a focus here on healthcare and hospitality, and there's certain trends that we were talking about that I think are going to really be helpful and apply to everyone listening today. And so combining social media marketing and advertising, I really like how you laid everything out, and testimonials, case studies. There's a couple of particular case studies I thought were impressive, and it was I just selfishly wanted to ask kind of behind the scenes story as much as you can share on why things converted. And so there's one particular one here, Donut Kitchen. Yeah, I love donuts. And so do my kids.
And they're American donuts, right?
So what's the difference?
Well,
American donut, yeah.
It's just the name. They actually started out as the German Donut Kitchen 70 years ago, and then post-war Australia, German didn't really go down so well, so they just changed the name. But the recipe is still the same from 70 years ago, and it's still based on a European donut. So the name's a bit of a misnomer, but they've got a nice, fun, funky van that's old and retro and stuff. People love taking photographs with the van.
That's awesome. Okay, so I thought you were going to tell me like a really some crazy Australian donut, like, oh, in Australia, like, here's what a donut is. So okay, so this is what I was curious, and I think everyone will be very interested to hear, is a great result, 3 times content reach, and it was organic. Here's the thing, obviously the page will only show a very small percentage of content, right? Why? Because Facebook's like, hey, how about I don't show everyone your content, so you pay us to show them. So what's the secret? How did you get such a great breakthrough result with these guys?
So with those guys, part of it was about they had been posting inconsistently, because like a lot of business owners that are trying to do it themselves, they do a bit and then they get busy and then they do a bit, and so it was really inconsistent. So when they came to me, we were actually both, I met them in a growth program that I was doing here in Australia that was for business owners, and they wanted some consistency. They knew social media could grow their business. They're a multi-generational family, so they've got the people who started the business, he has now passed on, but they've got the grandparents and the parents, and so the ones that are running the business are about my age, but they also had to convince their parents that social media was a good thing. The main thing that I did for them was post consistently, but also have an organic growth strategy. So the thing with Facebook is that years ago, you used to be able to put out good content and your page would grow. Whereas now, that's not enough. If you want growth, you need to include a bunch of different growth strategies, whether that's piggybacking on popular content and tagging, where that's come from, or in this case, we do a lot of, we've got the page as a member of a lot of different groups. And so we share content with community groups and advertising groups and various groups in Melbourne where they are based. And so we do a lot of sharing. So, but there's different sort of organic strategies for different businesses. Some of them won't be so much growth on the page, but they will bring in business. Others will bring in page growth and reach and engagement.
So, like when it comes to our profile, I know a lot of listeners, viewers are using they're leveraging their profile. That gets a lot better engagement or exposure. What's your, why not just use a profile?
So you can just use a profile and you can get a lot of traction. But look, let's face it, at the end of the day, if people go to your profile, part of what they do is they want to know, well, who does this person work for, or what's their business name or whatever. So then they also want to check out the business page, partly just to make sure what we're really looking for online. People think we're looking for different things. Even if we go hunting for something, if we're shopping for something, we think we're shopping for a fridge or a jumper or whatever it is. What we are really looking for is understanding. We are looking for a business who, when we go and check out their social, we go, oh, they get me. They know what I need. They read my mind. I hadn't even articulated that. Like this is where I should be. They get me. So that's what we're really looking for online. So the thing is, if we just have a Facebook profile, I think a lot of us would recognize that, yes, our profile can bring in a lot of business, but without a page or a website or something, we kind of lack a bit of credibility, because we can sit there and we can go, yeah, I've got 5,000 friends. That's the most that I can have. I've got 5,000 followers, right? But we don't actually have a page that sort of, I guess, professionalizes or, sort of puts that oomph behind being in business. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so there's that, but also we can't run ads from our profile.
True.
So
true.
The best strategy is to have all of these things working together. So to make it super simple, when people come to your profile, it should be very obvious what you do and who you do it for, and the links to your business page or pages. And then you also want to go into the strategy of having, okay, are you collecting emails? Because we know that, as you grow, obviously in the beginning, we don't want to do everything. In the beginning, we just want to keep it super simple. Okay, what is the shortest distance between where I am now and where my next goal is in terms of revenue or clients or whatever? But as we grow, we know that we need email addresses so that we can send certain messages out that way. We might do messenger chatbots to send messages out that way. And we do need to have those systems sort of running together so that if someone gets all of the messages, they're not kind of like, oh my God, I'm getting it 50 times. But they're kind of working together. But equally, if they only get the chatbot messages or they only get the email messages, then they're getting a sort of a complete picture there as well. So ideally, we want things working together because we can run ads from our pages. And we talked before we came on air about the different types of pages. So I have a Cate Scolnick business page and I have a Sane Social Media business page. And the Cate Scolnick business page is always going to get better traction than Sane Social Media because it looks like a person. Okay. And so if it goes into a group, it looks like a person. People are less... Our little antennas don't sort of go up and go, oh my God, it's a business. They're going to sell me something.
Back off, abort.
That subconscious stuff that happens. So people don't get the sort of back up and get wary so easily. They think it's a person, which is great. But yeah, if we can have those things working together. And the other thing is our personal profile can be really powerful because we can be a little bit more likely to put some of our emotional content on there more so than on our page. Many times we're a bit reluctant to put some emotional content on our page. And really, if I go to Sane Social Media and start talking in the first person about me, it looks and feels a little bit weird. Not so much on my Cate Scolnick personal profile, personal page, business page. But so I can talk about things on my profile about people's fears and overcoming fears and the inspiration that we need in order to reach our business goals and that kind of stuff. It can look a little bit weird if I put that on, say, a social media page.
It makes complete sense. So what I heard is ads, by, having like a Chris Baden page. Obviously with a page I can run ads. I can't with a profile. That matters. Another one I've heard mentioned is, there's not a 5,000 limit. And so, that goes here, but here's something that catches my attention. Don't you eventually find out it's a page though, right? And because I know in our Facebook groups and stuff, we'll see if a page is trying to join our group versus a profile. And I know that's a slightly different dynamic, but if you're out trying to join and connect with more people, I don't know, page versus profile. Your thoughts?
So, but the page that has your name, like the Chris Baden page or the Cate Scolnick page, still looks more like a person. So you can still often do content that is more personalized. You can almost take the content that you're putting on your personal profile and put it on that page in many instances. Maybe not photographs of your kids, doing things, but still people do they like to see all the different aspects of us in business so that they can start to go, oh, she's a mum like me. Okay. Oh, she knows what it's like to have to try to juggle all these different things. All those things that we're looking for, those understanding sort of points. So having that content on that page, we can do it more in a more personal kind of way. Whereas if I comment on, say, a social media page, it just looks weird if it sounds like it's in first person. We can still do emotional content, and content that evokes emotions is the most powerful content online. Okay. Yeah. And particularly the stuff that not all emotions are equal, stuff that creates negative emotions, guilt, sadness, that kind of stuff. We don't want to share that. So things that evoke positive emotions that inspire us or make us feel understood and that make us feel happy, that is more powerful. Because if I go to my newsfeed and I see something like some poor animal being tortured or something, I go, oh, I feel terrible. And then I don't go, oh, I know, I'll share that with my friend Chris and make him feel like crap too. Nobody does that. We skim over it and we look for our happy place. We look for stuff that's going to make us feel happy, inspired, positive, that kind of stuff. So the thing is that the page, we can do more emotional stuff on a page that is from a person, a business consultant sort of page, a page that where we're Cate Scolnick expert or whatever it is. Yes, it still looks like a page. Yes, people can still see it, but it can look more personal because we haven't got a logo there. We've usually got our face on the business page with our name. So it still looks more like a person. It still feels like the person that is doing the talking. So a lot of the time the content, we want it to sound a bit more as though almost like a personal profile where I am doing the talking. I'm talking in first person, whereas on the business page, we've got a logo. It's just looking more like a business, that just one step away.
Sure.
Yeah. But if you use them in tandem and layer them all up, that's when the true power can come into play.
Makes complete sense. And let's go to direct messaging, because the page direct messaging has different rules, and requirements compared to the profile. And that's where a lot of the know, like, and trust and relationships are being built, is in direct messaging. And so talk, from your perspective, direct messaging with like Chris Baden page versus Chris Baden profile. What are some of the things that you're seeing with clients of what's working and what's not working?
Well, again, things that if it's a person's name page, then again, we just can make it that little bit more personalized. It can be, hi, I'm Kate, how can I help you, kind of thing. Whereas if it's saying social media, it's more about, well, how do we help you? It's just that personal kind of thing. But then the DMs, I mean, yes, we can DM anyone from our personal profile, even though we might not be friends. I can send a DM. They may not receive it if people don't work out that they've got message requests as opposed to just messages. So if we're not friends, I might send something and they might not actually read it because they haven't worked out that there's requests sitting there. But as a page, I can't just DM anyone, obviously.
Right. So okay. So they need to message us. Yeah.
Yeah. So as a person, if I do it right, and obviously we've probably all seen doing it wrong. I mean, I accepted a friend request yesterday from someone, and the first thing they're doing now is pitching their services. Their first message to me, "Hey, Kate, great to meet you. Would you love to buy some stuff?"
Did you buy their stuff?
I unfriended them and then archived
Oh, that's so that doesn't work. That's
you
awesome.
know,
Yeah.
this is the thing. We, as humans, we don't really bring the rules that we have in life to online. And as we get new technology, so when we first got televisions, we didn't understand how to get the most out of them. So you'd see a lot of the early TV ads would be people standing around a microphone, doing singing, reading from a script. And then they started to learn, hang on, we can do this better. We're still kind of coming to terms with using social media, a bit like when we used to use the telephone. There were a lot of people when telephones first rolled out, like, oh, the telephones, this is an instrument of the devil. And, and now we know it's just a communication tool. So really, social media, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's DMing, whatever, it's just a communication tool. You can reach more people, but when it comes to talking to individuals, if we're going to meet in a networking event or something, and I go, hey, Chris, I'm Kate, pleased to meet you. I do social media. Would you like to buy from me? No one does that face-to-face, really.
Yeah.
Some people might do, but I don't find it very effective. Whereas, it's much better to go, hey, Chris, great to meet you. I'd love to, what sort of business are you in? Oh, fantastic. How'd you get into that? I actually want to meet you and know who you are on a personal level. And so if you have that genuine desire, and this is the other thing, is it's really obvious in social media if you don't have that genuine desire to genuinely help people. I genuinely want to help people, give you a quick tip or whatever. If you want to discuss doing business together, great, we can have that discussion later on. But I genuinely want to meet people. I'm interested in hearing about different businesses, and that shines through. So you can use the same strategy DMing. Hey, Chris, great to meet you. I noticed you run sales ascenders. Would love to hear more about that. What do you do?
Easy.
And have that, let's build a relationship before we start exploring whether or not we may end up working together in the future. Because I don't want to work with people that I don't know, like, and trust, and neither do you. So let's explore that bit first.
100%. That last part there is kind of one of the big punchlines where you actually want to do this process. You don't want to sell somebody right away because you don't know if they're a great fit. I'm assuming most people listening, watching to this, hey, you've been to that process where you fired a client and you were like, I should have done that 6 to 8 months ago. I waited way too long, and that's it's just better for all parties involved to qualify up front, build know, like, and trust, and make sure everyone's clear on what problem's being solved and how it's going to be solved. So I really appreciate what you're saying, and I appreciate you. I have just another question for you before we kind of come to our final question here, and that's Facebook groups. In your mind, where do groups fit in? With page and profile, are they important? Should we have one, and why or why not?
Yeah. So look, the answer to almost every marketing question is it depends. It depends on what your goals are, what you're trying to achieve, and it also depends on your resources. Like if you're still in the early stages and you're still running pretty lean, then it's another overhead, and it's a question of, do I have the resources, the time, energy, finances to put into running a group? Groups can be phenomenal if you run them right. You can use a personal profile to pump that up even without DMing people. Like you can just go and value bomb in relevant groups. I did it yesterday. I've got 45 new people asking to come into my group today, just from making a couple of comments. Okay. And my group is small, but it's growing and it's really engaged. Like people are really in there asking questions, really, really engaged, which is fantastic. So, that's what we want, but that takes effort. And in the beginning, you've got to be in there at least every day, posting something to provoke conversation or to give people, helpful information to make them, think, oh my God, you're the most helpful person in the world. I'm sure you put a lot of time and effort into your group. So you need to understand it requires that investment of time and energy. And where are we going with this? You know, is this the best time to be doing this in my business at the moment? So it kind of depends on a bunch of things. So this is why when I meet with people, I always ask them, what are your business goals at the moment? Where are you going? What are you trying to achieve? And then we can work out the best way of achieving that with social media. Is that messenger chatbots? Is it ads? Is it, you know, organic? Is it setting up a group? There's pros and cons to all of it, and it's just a question of, is this the best time to invest in that strategy now? And what else have you got happening? And what can we leverage?
And for those that are wanting to have continue that conversation with you, where's the best place to find you?
So I'm at sanesocialmedia.com, and you can email me at kate@sanesocialmedia. And there's very few Cate Scolnicks online apart from me. So if you look for me in Facebook, you will find me. And yeah, there's not very many Scolnicks, and I'm probably related to most of them. So
Well played. Fair point. The last question I like to ask people is, being an entrepreneur, typically that entrepreneur is called to serve a certain marketplace, and it takes a certain sacrifice mentally, emotionally, financially, to, at minimum, to pour in and to a certain market, put themselves out there and solve problems. And my question is why? Why take the risk? Why put yourself out there, and why go through all these, journeys, mountains, in order to make your mark in the world?
Me personally?
Yep.
Why? Because I genuinely love helping people. I've always loved helping people. And with this business, I get to do the best of everything as far as I'm concerned. I'm not great at numbers. I can get someone else to do my numbers, but I get to do all the creative stuff and the interesting stuff. And it's such a fantastic, fascinating blend of people and sociology. I did this degree years ago with sociology and computer information systems, which sounds like such a weird mix. But before there was social media, tertiary education that you could do in social media, it's actually a perfect blend because it teaches me about people. I've always been fascinated by people and what makes them, what motivates them to take certain actions and to do other things and that sort of thing. And so it's a great blend of being able to help people, constantly understanding people and what motivates them, and creativity. I just love that blend.
Love that blend. That's awesome. Well, Cate, thank you for sharing some of that blend with us today, talking through Facebook profile, Facebook page, and groups and social and content and all the things. So I appreciate you coming out today.
Thanks for having me. It's been great.
Yes, the Sales Ascender. You're listening, you're watching faithfully each week. That means that you're an experienced business owner, sales and marketing professional. And know that while this journey can be lonely, it doesn't have to be. You're surrounded by like-minded other entrepreneurs and business owners here in this community. Please reach out. Please continue to join us. And hey, to accomplish something greater than yourself, it takes more than yourself. So we'll see you guys. Have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you guys on the next one.